Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina.
Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Jessie. Very few of you show interest, but when you do, it makes me happy. You mentioned my vapes. This is my favorite vape. This is the one I use all the time. Isn't she pretty? Nina doesn't let me use it on here because it sounds like this.
So anyway, today we're reacting to some LGBTQIA blah, blah, blah clips. Join us.
This is what we do.
Bitch, is you fucking slow? That's rhetorical. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I can sit here and watch those videos all day long. But I got a serious question for all of you confused individuals that like to play pretend. After watching that video, do you still want to play pretend? And I'm cool if you do, because I can watch them motherfuckers all day. But you cannot harm the dog or blame the dog afterwards because you're the stupid motherfucker that chose to play pretend. Clearly you were really good at playing pretend because the dog thought you were a dog and decided to fucking eat you. Or, hear me out, the dog was like, this stupid motherfucker went full Tropic Thunder and I need to take this bitch out. You do realize animals eat the young if they're slow, and never mind. Anywho, I love all of you. I'm your Huckleberry.
That guy's wild too, man. I mean, so if I had to choose, I'd rather bump into that dude than this chick. But that's an evil laugh if I ever heard one, though.
Well, you just decide, you know what? I'm going to get on my knees in front of this store and bark like a dog.
Two things.
What a fool.
Yes, it's foolish. Also, dogs have like alpha, beta rankings. So if you're on the ground as a person who should be stronger than them, you look weak. And so they, especially if you're acting like that, may come at you, depending on the dog, because you look like you're losing it. Some dogs might think you're playing and want to play with you. Some dogs might think you're crazy and want to harm you. The point is that you don't know people's dogs, so you might as well act like a person and show some kind of authority around this animal, because that's the only way dogs respond.
And I'm going to say that look how quick she changed from dog to person. I guess she really isn't a dog.
It really wasn't a change. It was always the same.
She identified as a dog. See, that's why you can't take them seriously, because they don't go all in. If she was really identifying as a dog, she would have acted like a dog back. But nope, she clicked into human and went, I'm getting attacked, stop it. It's like, why? He's being a dog. Obviously, you are not. Retard. Next.
Say retard.
So we've got lesbians dating trans men, and we've got trans women feeling not accepted by the lesbian community in these spaces. Feels to me like our trans identities are just not being seen as we truly are in these spaces. So we've got
Yeah.
You're seeing the exact point that we've made. Many men and even some women will date someone who is biologically female despite what their gender identity is, especially when they don't put the effort in to adhere to their acclaimed gender identity. Does that make sense? So if I say I'm a man, but I continue to show up looking like this, are you going to go on a date with me?
No, because you're crazy.
Well, yeah, you're crazy. But if you're looking for a woman, am I not still someone who looks the part?
Yeah.
So if you're, I don't want to say desperate, but if you haven't been on a date in a while.
Desperate?
Slightly desperate, we'll say. And you see someone who looks feminine, but says they go by they, them. Right? Because it's usually not they're feminine, go by he, him. They go by they, them, right? Would you not, in a slightly desperate place, possibly swipe right on that person?
Absolutely not.
Now, you're different, though, would you not say, than the average person?
Yeah.
The average person might. No?
You mean the average dummy?
Yeah, the average slightly desperate, has been single for a minute person.
What's wrong with them?
Nothing. They just haven't had a good opportunity yet, so they're just hopeful.
Why not? You have the internet.
But you're not. Why do you always do this? I'm giving you a clean-cut situation, and you keep giving me oh, well, why do that? I'm asking you a question.
Okay, well, I think that you're
Do you think that most people would not do that? I think most people would say, well, despite their politics, they look my type or whatever, so I'm going to go for it.
Despite their politics? Are you kidding me?
Most men and most lesbians, I think,
Most lesbians, are we talking conservative lesbians, middle of the road lesbians, or lefty lesbians?
I specifically said most because I wasn't talking about political siding.
So most lesbians are like lefty. So
I'd say,
they're, I
but
guess
are those
they're like
all lesbians or are those like gender confused people?
lesbians who on the left usually identify as queer, so they're bi, so they're not actually lesbians. So
do you-
they'll date anything.
Do you think a desperate woman who would only date women would not potentially swipe right on someone who is slightly gender confused, even though they don't believe that they're actually a man or whatever?
I don't know. It depends on the type of person that lesbian is.
All I know is that, like, I went out with a woman who said that they identify this way or the other, right?
Yeah, look how that turned out.
I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying that women are more likely to give grace in that situation.
Yeah, it's sad for them.
And
It always works
men-
against them.
And men are more likely to say yes because they just want to hit it.
And that usually works against them too.
So, of course, you're going to see more people willing to sleep with women.
Yeah. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Actual lesbians, not these women who claim to be queer, which isn't lesbian. They're just bi. Actual lesbians, we don't care about the feelings of men because we're not attracted to them and we're never going to date them. So we don't care if they cry and boo-hoo or whatever. Doesn't matter to us. And also, y'all put in this word pansexual for a reason, right? Which is people who will date anybody or anything. And I guess that included like dogs and trees from what I was tagged in on X. So if you have
I don't think
a
that's accurate, but-
sexuality of people who are willing to date anyone, why would you go after lesbians in particular? Because you're probably a predatory dude who doesn't understand boundaries or definitions.
This here in the image is a woman.
Oh, I'm not. No, she was referring to like, oh, trans women don't feel seen, blah blah blah. That's
No.
what I'm referring to.
No, what this individual is saying is, I'm a trans man, and that should be a man to you, but you still see me as having a vagina. And yes, that's true. We know statistically, based on today's society, women are more likely to have a sexual interaction with someone than a man is. No?
Yeah.
So, if you transition and you were born a woman, you're still more than likely to have more sexual interactions with someone or have more opportunities at a sexual interaction with someone than someone who is biologically born a man. Because even though they might say trans women are women and trans men are men, they are not treating you in that way. I agree, because you're not those things. Because trans men are people who are born biologically women but want to present as men.
The standard is man. You can't be a man while trying to be a man.
And you can't complain about men wanting to sleep with you when you're trying to look like a man, but everyone knows you have a vagina. It happens to everyone. Even when you're a butch woman, when you're trying to be trans, men are going to hit on you because they want a chance. It's gross. Not every man will do it, but there are quite a few that will. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, next.
It is so hard for me to make this video because I already know the kinds of comments
Okay.
that I'm going to get. I need you all to know what it is like for me as a trans man, as a therapist for trans youth, to sit with these kids every week and hear.
Okay, imagine you have a therapist, your therapist. I've had therapists too. And you see them online crying about the things that they've gone through while being a therapist. Would you not get rid of that therapist? Because I would. If my therapist needs a therapist and they can't handle their emotions so much so that they want to post it online, they're not good therapists. Sorry, you are like not emotionally stable enough to handle any of the emotional instability I have. So I got to find someone new. That's what I would be thinking.
Total random story, sorry. And I'm sure this guy's dead because he was old then. But in middle school, I was brought to the guidance counselor by friends for some reason I won't talk about. But he cried in front of me.
Oh,
And I was like, I couldn't have been more than like 12.
ew.
And he cried in front of me.
That's uncomfortable.
And it was chaotic as can be. And then he retired. And so I was like 12 and I'm 27 now. So like I said, he's got to be dead if not like, he's not online. So
He's not crying no more.
I'm not saying the name because I do want to be discreet, but it was a very basic name. If I say it, you'll cut it, right?
Just don't say it, so I don't
Okay.
have to cut it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, point being, I felt very uncomfortable as the child in the situation with someone who was supposed to be wiser, more stable, and more balanced. I didn't cry, by the way. I was not crying. He cried.
So you were the therapist.
He asked me questions that I answered, and then he began to cry.
So you were the therapist. A
And
12-year-old was a therapist to the therapist.
And I just became uncomfortable.
Obviously.
There was no like, hey, why do you feel that way? Hey, what's the reason for that? Or A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He just started crying.
Yeah, that's deranged. And I'm going to cut this here because I don't want to watch this woman cry. It's very uncomfortable for me, because this is just weird. And completely unprofessional,
Well,
by
also,
the way.
you're talking about kids needing these things. And I guarantee you probably didn't transition as a child. So how can you say that these are definitely going to be the best situations for these children? I'm not sure you do know that. I think you just strongly believe that. And that should be considered a religion.
Whatever this person's is like, whatever advice this person is giving to children is going to be bad. Obviously. This person seems very unstable, and unstable people should not be therapists. I think it is a car crash waiting to happen. So, goodbye, deranged crazy lady.
Wait for it.
Why is there so much, do you think, animosity against trans, gender nonconforming people in this moment?
Envy. No one teaches us when we're younger how to say out loud, I want the thing that you have.
As one of those people you'd probably see.
Hey, do you want his hairy chest, babe? No? You don't want to be in that hairy man body? No? You're not jealous? Well, why does he think people are jealous? Because he's cuckoo.
I don't understand, honestly.
They always do this.
I think that when you're born into a wealthy position, that's what people might be envious of. It's
Your
not,
money.
It's not the way you look or the way you dress or your like smarts or your fashion. It's your money. It's your privilege. That's literally the whole thing that you're supposed to understand on the left is that you were born into privilege when you have certain things. Because you label it with race or with gender or whatever you want to call it, it completely diminishes the whole point, which is that some people are born with leverage. I'm not saying we need equity or whatever. I'm just saying that some people are genuinely born with leverage. They have more money. If my parents hypothetically have me and they have $200 put away, I'm not as likely to have a good life as if my parents have me and they have $2 million put away. Then I'm likely to have a better school, a better like setup, better food, better care. That's leverage. That's an advantage in my perspective. And I think many other people's perspectives. But you associate that with white and male. You don't associate that with economic status or generational wealth or the inability to go to college, or else we'd have affordable college under the Democrats. But we didn't. So
Because they lied.
So what's the point? I'm not kidding you. The second they have affordable college, I will go back. The entire reason I didn't go to college is because they wanted me to go to community college and pay $6,000 a semester, which if you do the math is $24,000 to go to community college.
Yeah. And then you're no better than any other retarded liberal with a piece of paper.
If you did the math, it was 2017. If I had $24,000, I could have paid nearly a year's rent and gotten a car, worked a job, and financially set myself up for life versus having $24,000 of debt and having to do that all and struggle. So it was an obvious choice.
Okay.
Day has animosity towards trans people. I'd love a go at answering this question. The problem starts when you want boys and girls locker rooms showing their bodies because their body identifies as a woman. When you advocate for legislation that prevents teachers from informing parents when their child wants to go by a different gender in school. When you try to police the language of everyone around you and insist they participate in something they don't believe in. When you want to have girls and boys interchange in sports as if their biology is irrelevant to the equation. My problem is not with you. I could not possibly care less that you're trans. The problem starts when you insist that the next generation is trans too. Wait for it.
Why is there so
Not only the next generation, but everything in our current generation. Everything now has to be pro-trans. Everything's trans. Like I've said, can't play basketball, too short. Do I sit here and push for legislation to play basketball? Do I beg people to let me on their basketball teams? No, because I know what I have and what I want out of life. I'm never going to be that tall, never going to do it. Just like a trans woman is never going to be biologically a woman. They will always be biologically a man. They can present really well and look as much like a woman as they want, but they're still biologically a man.
Yep. Next.
Are usually some of the worst people I've ever met because they hold everyone to the purity test and they destroy people's lives if they're not 100% perfect in every way whatsoever.
Holy shit.
They act like they're kind online and then in real life they don't do shit. And those that are willing to actually joke with each other and who have open minds and who are willing to be fun. And
I can't do this. The audio is fucking trash.
I looked at her,
Moving
I'm
on.
like, I'm not a woman. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not a woman. I said, I'm a trans woman. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no. I'm like,
You're like, actually, no, I don't.
said, you're a woman. I said, myself and your daughter are trans women.
Yeah.
I'm like, or if I wanted to be really politically correct, myself and your son are trans women. And she was just like, so pissed. And like, I lost that client and I was perfectly okay with it. I said, you're part of the problem. I said,
Well, you
when
don't want people that aren't aligned with your truth. You don't want that. You don't want people that aren't aligned with your truth. And that's like, that is so important. And I think like why is that delusion there? It's like, but you're not a woman. You don't have a uterus.
It's okay. Like, why can't it just be okay? Why can't
it be okay?
Why can't you be okay to be like happy with your truth? I'm a trans woman. Period. Like, that's it. Like, that's what you want to call me. You don't even have to call me that. Like, just call me Daviana. What are you? I'm a freaking biological male. But I'm a biological male that just wishes to freaking God that he was born a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't be. So you know what? I'm going to do whatever I can that will allow me to pass as much as possible and make me feel whole.
Yes, exactly.
Me. Not about you. It's not about everybody else. It's about me.
Yeah.
So
and you draw the line. You draw that line where you're like,
And this is the thing. You can tell that they don't believe they're actual women when they get mad that other people don't believe it. It's like if you need other people to validate your womanness, then you're telling me that you don't believe in your womanness, in you being a woman. Because it shouldn't matter to other people how you see yourself. It should matter to you how you see yourself. So when you get mad at other people for not seeing you how you want to be seen, it's because you're putting way too much emphasis on what they think and not what you think. And it really does prove to other people that you actually don't believe what you say you are. You just want to control other people. So eventually they'll convince you by placating to you that you're an actual woman.
I have seen this person pop up a couple times, and they always have more of a base take on things. I know that there are going to be people who disagree with him because he looks like a woman presenting-wise. Not saying a good version, but because we can all see, but does what he can to look like a woman, right? I have no issues with someone who is aware of what they have going on. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I don't believe this person's forcing themselves in our bathroom. I do still think that we hear the my truth. The whole point is the truth.
Yeah, I hate when they say
truth.
that. It's your truth. It's like, no, it's the truth.
And I do agree that it should be for you. And that's what he said at the end, is it should be for him and only for him. Yes. The problem is when people take that your truth is it's for me and force it on the world.
Yeah.
And so you're saying the things that we do agree with overall, but you're using this language that is still very leftoid. Not saying it's in a bad way, but this is the kind of language they use to make you feel like you have to listen to them. Mm-hmm. My truth matters. Everyone's truth matters because it does. But you know what matters the most is the truth, the real truth, the hard, cold facts. That's what really matters.
Yeah, why people get pissed off at trans women in particular is because they want to force people to believe what they believe, and that doesn't work with Christians, and it's certainly not going to work with the trans thing. Like, if you want to make a decision to transition, that's fine, but it's not fine when you're making a decision to transition and it affects me because you're being all pushy and telling me to change my language and stuff. That's where the not accepting trans community thing comes in, and why there's been a downward slope in the acceptance. Because now all these men who are deciding they're trans, well, now it affects us. It affects everyone around them. And some people might go along with it because they care about them, but strangers, I don't want my world to be affected because some random dude decides he wants to be trans. So now I have to change my language because I don't know who's trans and who's not. Like, I have to walk on eggshells around everybody now because I don't know who's trans and who's not. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're trying to control everybody because you made a decision about yourself. Well, it's supposed to be about you. You, not all of us. Stop with the all of us thing.
That's why the pronoun game is really just a battle against them. If you just brush it off and like went by, let's say you go by he, but you're born she, right? If you brush it off every time someone doesn't get your gender right? If you brush it off every time, you're more than likely to have better relationships and better interactions with people than if you are to go up their butt every single time they misspeak or label you the gender you are correctly. It's not that hard to be okay. I don't like being called Jessica. My birth name is Jessica. I go by Jessie or Jess. But when people call me Jessica, I don't fly off the walls. In fact, I think I've told this before, when I called for food, it's often my name is reported as Jeff. And then they go, order for Jeff. And I'm like, sure, I guess. I don't get mad at them. I don't say, my name is Jess. I get my food, and I go home.
Yeah.
It should be the same for them.
Most of these people who are transitioning are narcissists.
The only people that it should matter if they call you by your preferred pronouns are the people that you choose to keep in your life.
Yeah, that's why it pisses everyone else off when they're like, it's ma'am, and it's like, sir, I don't even know you.
That's what I'm trying to
Leave me alone.
If you want to cut off your parents because they won't follow your gender identity, you are allowed to do that. And in fact, I don't think that you should, but I don't think that I'm not going to sit here and tell you shouldn't. If that's what you choose to do because it's too hard to talk with them, then that's your right, especially as an adult. As a kid, I don't think it's necessarily the best idea, but still, depending on the severity of the situation, it can vary. It's just hard out there with all these liberals doing all the liberal stuff. I don't know. Stop cutting people off and stop being crazy and just accept the fact that, like, reality is real and you're not going to change anything by putting on a costume. You can change the way people look at you, and maybe if you do a really good job, fool a couple, but people know. And if they don't know and you're trying to be sexually active with them, they're going to find out.
Yeah. And the more you try to control strangers and how they speak and how they see things in reality, the more not only are they going to not accept you, but the more they are not going to accept anyone who identifies or looks like you. So you're doing a disservice to yourself and rip bozo, I guess.
Well, I guess if you were at the store, right, and you forgot to pay for paper towels, and someone was like, oh my goodness, I noticed your receipt doesn't have the paper towels. Could you go pay for them real quick? I'm so sorry. Versus someone being like, the paper towels, you're trying to steal them. Which one are you going to react positively to versus negatively to?
Right.
It's the same way with the pronoun stuff.
Well, that's a learned behavior. They learn this as children. This is the parents' fault. And now it's their fault because they're adults and have the decision to either be a normal human being or a completely deranged cunt. They choose the cunt.
The point still being the pronoun game is going to lose because of how corrective you are.
But they'll never have a cunt.
Well, some of them do have cunts.
The inside-out penises aren't cunts.
No, I'm saying the ones that want.
Oh, well, yeah, they do.
Yeah, some of them do because trans covers everything there.
Anyway, this is it. Let me see.
But I am not a woman. I'm not one. And that's why I think people resonate.
Everybody else's issues by saying you have to respect me.
Yeah.
You have to call me a woman. No, you don't. Do I like it? Do I appreciate it? Do I get like an extra little hitch in my giddy up, as you would say in the country? Like,
of course.
Flutter? Like when someone calls me a woman, especially the people that have known me for years and start like referring to me as she on a regular basis. Oh my God, I feel so good. So good. But do I expect that from anybody? No, I don't.
But do you still feel good even though you know that they actually don't believe that? They're just being nice?
I think that's the hard thing.
That's where I'm like, are you happy that they're saying it? Or because you know they don't believe it. I mean, they might say, yes, I really believe you're a woman, but they don't. They're lying to you. Everyone knows you're a man. They're just being pleasant.
I think it's evident, yes. This person in particular likes it when someone refers to them as she because it makes them feel more or less aligned with that she pronoun or whatever, right?
Okay, but if someone hates you and they're being nice to you and being pleasant, but you know they hate you, does the pleasantries really matter?
So again, I'm going to go back to the specific wording. This person literally said, if they've known me for a while and then begin to call me she.
So they know you're a man. They're just being kind.
Yes. Their point is they see me in their head. They see me the way I see me.
But they don't.
I don't believe they do either. They're saying what you'd like to hear because they know it makes you feel better. This person, however, said earlier, they simply want to get as close to a woman as possible. Not that they will get there, but they want to be as close as possible. So when someone you care about, think about it like coming out. For example, let's say your parents call your girlfriend your friend. The first time they call them your girlfriend, you feel acknowledged.
You might need to use a better example because that doesn't work on me. I don't feel anything from that.
You don't understand the point of that?
I understand the point with regular people, but personally, I don't really. It wouldn't matter to me either way. So,
not even when you were younger. Then I don't know what to compare it to. You want me to come up with 8 analogies so that one of them fits how you felt as a kid?
I didn't even ask you for one analogy.
You just said to come up with a second one.
I was just saying.
You said come up with a better one.
You would have to come up with a better one in order for me to understand this kind of point of view, I guess.
It's like when you were on stage in school and you sang a song and someone told you you had a lovely voice.
But if I sucked?
No, I'm not saying that you sucked. I'm saying that you heard something that validated something that you wanted to hear. It has nothing to do with your actual ability.
But if I sucked and I knew I sucked.
Why are you going to something I didn't say? Why do you keep doing this? I'm asking you a straightforward question.
I'm not saying that you said I sucked. I'm thinking in my head, if I was singing and I knew that I sucked and someone said that I sounded really good, I'd be like, you're lying to me. I know that I sucked.
So why did I ask you the question? So you could give me a completely separate answer to a separate question I didn't ask you?
I don't know. Maybe because communication is bah.
What would you feel if someone told you you had an excellent voice and looked lovely on stage when you were younger and had that dream?
How young are we talking?
18.
Yeah.
Is it not a validating time? Like an experience to hear someone tell you that kind of thing?
Yeah, being that age, probably.
Young, impressionable. I'm not saying that, obviously we all know that a lot of these trans people are very young, too. 18, 19, 20 years old, right?
I don't know, honestly.
A lot of them are younger. They're not a lot.
I'd say, there's a good percentage that are younger. I wouldn't say all of them. I'd say majority of the ones who are transitioning are, probably young women and then old men, middle-aged men.
So a lot of them are young, impressionable. And they're told this will be good for them because they'll get appraisal for it at the end. Of course, they're going to go for it. That's what they're seeking. Just like you wanted something successful with music. If someone somewhat successful came up to you and said some kind of appraisal thing, even if you didn't get anywhere with it, but they said something of appraisal for your music, you would have been elated, no?
No, not elated, no.
You would have been happy.
I would have thought it was nice. I wouldn't have been like, yay!
You would have been happy to hear it.
I would have thought it was nice.
It would have been like a nice little pat on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same point being made here. It feels like the effort's getting a little.
Well, if you're young and you're thinking that you're expecting
though.
that, get ready for a rude awakening. Reality just don't work that way. But good luck in trying. Is this it?
I looked at her, I'm like, I'm not a woman. And she's like, what do you mean?
Yeah. That was the beginning
okay.
Again.
Finally. Okay, like and subscribe, everyone. Join our memberships to keep this channel going. This was a very long video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Comment below.
Comment below.
Forgot to mention commenting below.
There's commenting, and you can do that below. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cry